Meanwhile, 2 minutes after the top of the hour, it's great to have Pete with us today.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
He is the man of the hour. Donald Trump joins us live from somewhere in his empire. Good morning, Mr. Trump.
Good morning.
So what do you make of the Speaker of the House, the leader of the Republican Party, saying he is not ready to support you yet? We've got a soundbite, and then we want your reaction. Listen to this.
You have said throughout this process that you will support the Republican presidential nominee. Now you have a presumptive nominee, Donald Trump. Will you support him?
Well, to be perfectly candid with you, Jake, I'm just not ready to do that at this point. I'm not there right now. There are lots of questions that conservatives, I think, are going to want answers to, myself included, and I want to be a part of this unifying process.
Mr. Trump, he wants you to change your tune and change your tone. What's up with that?
Well, I've brought in millions of people into the party. We set a record, an all-time record, for votes gotten by somebody running. And as you know, we're up 70%, more than 70% from 4 years ago in terms of voting. And there's a certain reason for that. I hate to say that it's me, but let's assume it's me. And I was really surprised by it, and it's fine. He can do whatever he wants to do. It's fine. But I was surprised by it. And by the way, many other people were surprised by it, and some were really surprised by it and not happy about it. I will tell you, I have many endorsements from yesterday. They're coming in left and right. He's one of the only ones that really was surprising. Obviously, Bush can't be there. The campaign was too tough, and he couldn't take it, and he couldn't be there. So, you know, I mean, I understand.
So that's why the Bushes aren't involved. But do you think, I was talking to somebody last night, and they said, well, it makes perfect sense. With Paul Ryan, it could be sour grapes. I mean, how many times have you taken a shot at Mitt Romney on how he ran his campaign last time, and who was his number two? Paul Ryan.
Well, they lost a race that should have been won last time, and I've been very open about it. That was a race that should have easily been won. That was an easier race than we have this year, but I'll win. You already see the polls going up rapidly. But I was very, very surprised. I mean, he talks about unity, but what is this about unity? And, with millions of people coming into the party, obviously I'm saying the right thing. And, the party was stayed. It had a lot of problems, whether it was the right thing or the wrong thing, whatever they were saying wasn't doing it. And now the Republican Party is the talk of the world because there's no place and no party that's, increasing in scope like we have. It's a big story. Millions and millions of people have come into the party, and I have this. It's hard to believe, and it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Does it even matter? Because the reason you're doing well and have done so well is because you're anti-establishment, and the voters are getting behind you for that reason.
Well, many people think it's a very good thing, but I don't. I think it's not a good thing. I think it's something that the party should get solved quickly, and I know we're meeting next week, but...
You and Paul Ryan.
We're meeting next week.
What are you going to talk to him
about? They wanted to meet next week. I have absolutely no idea.
Do you know what day you're going to meet with him?
I believe it's Wednesday. It's a long time. I mean, to be honest, that's a long time. There are a lot of days before that. But, look, my attitude is a lot of people say it's a great thing. I don't necessarily agree, but I can understand that point of view. Again, millions of people have come into the party, and there's a reason for it. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't run, believe me.
Absolutely. Mr. Trump, we are 48 hours from a political revolution, really. I mean, the Republican Party and conservatives you didn't expect this. It happens. You will be the Republican nominee. What is your message to conservatives or Paul Ryan, who are still 48 hours from now wondering, hey, is he our guy? Is he a conservative? What would you say to them as you outreach to them and try to unite everybody?
Well, I would say, Pete, make America great again. That's been my message from the very, very beginning. We are a country that's got trouble. Our military is being depleted. Our trade deals are horrible. We're losing on every single deal we make. We don't take care of our veterans. We have problems on top of problems. And, my message has gotten across, whether it's on health care, repeal Obamacare and replace it, or education. And, we have to do something with Common Core because it's become a disaster. We want to bring education locally, get rid of Common Core. We have a lot of things, and, a lot of things that are very important. But we have to rebuild our military. We have to make our military stronger. That's one of the cheapest things we can do, believe me.
Absolutely. It was this week that you suddenly, on Tuesday night, Ted Cruz decided to drop out. Is your campaign pretty much going to continue to operate the way it has with Corey and Paul Manafort? And by the way, since Corey's been there since the get-go, have you given him a raise yet?
Well, that's something I'll have to think about. Wow, I never really gave that too much thought. I'm going to have to think about that immediately. No, we have a campaign that's very, very unified. We have two people that do like each other, despite reports in the press. You know, now they're starting to understand it. But we have people get along. And, you know, we won Indiana in a landslide. We won New York and Pennsylvania and Maryland and Connecticut and Delaware.
The campaign is
we won all these landslides, and that's why people really decided they better get out. And that's the thing. I mean, when you're looking for unity, unity is winning, too. We have to win.
Yeah, well, and going forward, you get to focus on unity and unifying the GOP. Now, Hillary is still fighting Bernie. And yesterday, when you were in West Virginia getting the award from the Coal Miners Association, she's out in California, and she is having a Cinco de Mayo party. There were a lot of protesters out there.
Some sort of a party.
Right.
I don't know.
Did not want her there. Hundreds of people showed up holding up signs. One sign said, "We only matter when it's Cinco de Mayo." Another one said, "Hillary, do your friends make $12 or $15 an hour?" What's your response to that?
Well, you know, Hillary is not a unifier. You talk about a unifier, and I was actually not surprised to see all the protesters. And last night I was in West Virginia. I got the award from the West Virginia Coal Miners Association, and the endorsement, most importantly, and it was, like, amazing. We had probably 20,000, maybe even 25,000 people there last night in West Virginia.
They usually only endorse Democrats.
Well, I heard that. I've heard that this was one of the first times they've ever endorsed a Republican, and their endorsement was unanimous, so it was great, and it was a love fest. And I hear Hillary's got nothing but problems. You know, Hillary wants all of the miners to be fired, and she wants wages for people to go down. If you look at what she's going to do, she's going to be so bad on jobs that wages are going to go down for workers. Hillary is going to be a disaster for the party, but I hope she wins. But I must say this, if she does win, she shouldn't, because the email scandal should take her down, but I don't think it's going to, because I think she's being protected by the Democrats.
Well, it does sound like they're starting to talk to him. So while she was out in Los Angeles getting a bad reception from a number of protesters, on Cinco de Mayo, you tweeted out an image of you there at Trump Towers with a taco bowl, talking about how you were having that, and they make really good ones at the Trump Grill there in your building.
They do.
After you posted that, Robert Zimmerman, who is a Hillary surrogate and a DNC committee member.
Flunky. He's a flunky. Go
okay,
ahead.
That's your depiction. He's a Democratic strategist who said this about your taco bowl.
It's like the Iranian Ayatollah having matzo ball soup and claiming he loves Jews. What Donald Trump has accomplished is, in fact, he has united Republicans with Democrats behind Hillary Clinton. You're seeing her numbers excel not just amongst Hispanics, amongst women, amongst people of color, amongst the mainstream.
At the beginning, he said it's like the Iranian Ayatollah having matzo ball soup and claiming he loves Jews.
The taco tension.
That's a terrible thing that a guy can say that. You know, and that was as of yesterday, I had 59,000 retweets. 59,000 in a short period of time. That's like almost got to be some kind of a record. People loved it. And you know what? I'm going to do great with the Hispanics. I mean, I'm going to do fantastically because I'm bringing jobs back to America. Hillary doesn't know what to do. Her husband signed the worst economic development bill ever in the country's history, and that was NAFTA, which just sucked the jobs out of America. So we're going to bring jobs back to America, and you know and there's nobody can compete with me on that. And Hillary can't compete. She doesn't know what she's doing.
All right. Any word on who you're looking at to be your vice president? Who's on the short list?
I am looking at a few people. I will be looking at more. I do get a kick out of it. I won't mention names because I don't want to embarrass anybody.
Tell us who's not on the list.
No, all of these, so many people are saying, I've decided to turn it down. They were never on the list. I mean, in all fairness, I won't embarrass them, but senators and governors, and they're out saying, I've decided not to accept, and I never even talked to them, and they're not on the list, and they wouldn't be chosen. But I have had more people talking about the fact that they've decided to turn it down, and you know, it's just, well, it's politics, I guess.
Mr. Trump, I know you're considering a lot of different people. Would you rule out or rule in a Democrat, the right kind of Democrat?
I would rule him out or her out.
Just like that, because
Ben
Carson said something to that effect yesterday.
We want to have a great ticket. The Democrats have been in there for a long time. The economy is terrible. The real unemployment rate is probably 20%. It could even be higher than that. It's a disaster. Jobs are leaving. You look at Carrier. You look at so many companies, they're leaving. No, I'm going to pick a great Republican, and we're going to have a tremendous victory. We're going to win.
There's some unbound delegates in Louisiana, and they're saying they have to support Marco Rubio because they're delegates for him. And they're saying they will give you their votes if you just look at him as a VP. Is that a possibility?
Well, look, I like Marco, and I'll look at Marco for a lot of things. You know, Marco's been saying really nice things, as did Rick Perry. Rick Perry called me one of the most talented people he's ever seen run for office. And Rick Perry, that's a long way back, and I appreciate it from Rick because I really liked Rick. I've always liked Rick. But that's what I mean, and he gave me an endorsement yesterday, and John McCain gave us an endorsement. We had so many endorsements yesterday. That's why I was so surprised at Ryan. I don't need the delegates anymore. You know, we have a lot of delegates right now, as you know, and I certainly am looking at him for other reasons, and we'll see what happens with Marco. But I really, you know, I've always liked Marco, and then we had that little about a 1-month spat, which worked out fine, and we'll see what happens.
Real quickly before you go, of course, you're talking about the opponents who are now supporting you. Have you talked to Ted Cruz yet since Tuesday? I
have not. At some point I will. I have not. You know, look, it was a rough campaign, let's face it. It was rough.
There's a lot going on.
So I have not.
All right. Donald Trump joined us today. Thank you very much for
Thank you very much.
All right.